Perfect. Hi, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Nick. I work with the resource management team in Zero Waste Scotland. We are an agency set up by the Scottish Government and fully funded by them. And this is our mission statement. Really, we're the circular economy and resource efficiency experts, and we are set up to facilitate change. You can come and see us. There's my colleague Stephen at the back there, just at our stand. So we kind of know the reason why we need to tackle construction. It's an extremely wasteful sector, and that what that represents is a huge hemorrhage of value, and obviously with resource scarcity and natural capital being such important aspects now, this is sort of something that we're looking more closely at, and also it's picking up attention not just from clients but the Scottish Government themselves. So this is the problem, that we take valuable materials and we lock them away in a way that they can't be retrieved. Other than this is all sort of things you've seen around, and in best case scenario we can maybe get something like this out of it, where we can extract a little bit of value maybe from recycled aggregate, crushing that and washing that. But this is more often what we see. Again, you could maybe extract a little value from that, but it's really problematic. It requires heavy processing, and the value that you can be retrieved from that is pretty rubbish, if you pardon the pun. So even though we know this, we're still designing buildings like this. This is I gave this presentation on Tuesday, and it's a BAM building, and one of our friends from BAM was in the audience, but he didn't mind too much. So this is I imagine ecologically sound in the sense of energy efficiency maybe, but in terms of the end of life, I don't know if anyone thought about what's happening to this glass, or whether any consideration was given to how you would reuse it, or even if there is a way that this can be reused. Currently, in the
because it's sorry, Nick, because it's curved, you mean, or
because 0% of glass in the UK gets used for gets closed loop recycled. Most of the glass in the UK will either go into aggregate, road surface painting, or wool insulation. So what we want to see, there's a massive potential if we can find ways of either processing this in a way that it can be recycled into plate glass, or if we can find another building which is identically shaped to that and we can reuse it, or if there is a way of just quite often when, get a bit sidetracked here, sorry, but quite often when a window is replaced, it's because the seal has broken. So the seal maybe has a lifespan of 10 years, but that bit of glass will have a lifespan of 60 years, or, we don't know, we don't push it. Also, there's huge problems around PVC window casing as opposed to wood. That's not applicable here, but so does that make sense?
Thanks. Sorry for the interruption.
No,
I was just trying.
But what I find when I sort of go about is this. This is Dobie's Garden Centre, 10 miles away from me at home, and it is effectively a completely circular building in the sense that you could deconstruct this. It looks to be, and now I have got in touch with Dobie's, but they've not emailed me back. I think they're suspicious of potentially being lampooned or something like that. But so this looks like CLT, structural. I don't know whether that's Scottish timber. It's probably unlikely to be so, but it could have been. And it's just bolted together. So at the end of this building's lifespan, or the end of if that business sort of runs its course and decided they wanted to move on, in theory, they could totally deconstruct this building and then reconstruct it somewhere else, or sell on the structural components for use within a building. But the likelihood is, I don't know, that it will be chipped and used for RDF, refuse-derived fuel. So I think this has not come out best, but in my mind there are three areas that we need to improve on to make sort of circular cities work. We need to begin to educate buyers of buildings and of services and of materials, not only what they need to ask, but how they need to ask for it, because they don't know. So we need to. There is a client demand, but again, it doesn't need to be as completely aspirational and revolutionary as we see in a lot of examples. We can make incremental steps towards circularity. And also, on the flip side of that, you need the skills. So if we're asking for something, that needs to be provided. We've seen some problems with when we've pushed for full servitization, working with a client at the moment, building a school, and we have really pushed the boat out on the servitization aspect, and what's happened is businesses are coming back and they don't quite know how to provide that. They don't know, the business models don't exist, and this is what moving towards a circular society is going to promote, is going to provide these new business opportunities, but people need to understand them. And as well, skills, practical skills, building skills, and then there's the policy piece, which has been mentioned by a number of people. Yes, the Scottish Government is doing really well right now. We, Zero Waste Scotland, helped write a circular economy policy called Making Things Last. Check that out. It's not a very stodgy read. It's actually quite good. But I think more needs to be done around there. We are doing well, but and I guess there's also the producer responsibility revision, which will influence this. So what we do in Scotland, in Zero Waste Scotland, is we provide two strands of support: direct support and financial support. And what we do is we try and create a pipeline of here. This has stopped working, unfortunately, but the impartial, free technical reports, once a client has had this, and it is basically builds a business case and it quantifies all the benefits of any recommendations around circular economy. Cheers. And then this sort of allows clients to take the next step and apply for these funds. And this top one here is a grant fund for capital expenditure on equipment that may reduce waste, and it's uncapped. So if you have an idea and you have the business case, it isn't limited by cost. Thank you. So this is a video. It's 1 minute. Have we got time for that? If you just click. So this is the Resource Efficient House. Resource Efficient Scotland is a program run by Zero Waste Scotland, and it effectively demonstrates what you can achieve from a fully circular house. So this was a previous steelworks. The land's been completely remediated, but because it's been capped with clay, it just has small piling instead of extensive foundations, and it's made of 4 units, 4 sort of shipping containers. And every square inch of this house has a story to tell in terms of the metal banisters being used from remelted steel, the carpet tiles from a company that offers a servitization of flooring, in the same way the lighting. This was 2014 and it was really advanced, and it still actually is very advanced for its time. And that's in the Innovation Park in Ravenscraig, which is near Motherwell in Scotland.
Looks like it's going up pretty quickly as well, yeah?
Yeah, it went up extremely quickly. At the time, we didn't, because it was such a sort of aspirational and forward-thinking build, we didn't have the facility to create volumetric design in Scotland, and now that exists. But so it was I think it was Northern Ireland where the factory was. If you just flick on one more, I've just basically, this going back. So yeah, this is another, if you just tap it twice, I think. Yeah, so this is another case study of a company we've supported, Volumetric Build, in the north of Scotland, and we basically funded them to implement building information management software. And what that helped them achieve was savings through clash detection and numerous others. And that's an example of what sort of our support can achieve. Now, obviously, back then, BIM wasn't so common, it wasn't so widely implemented. Now it's much, much more common. But I think there's a new piece there around understanding and teaching clients how to extract the value from BIM. Quite often clients are given this as a standard practice and they're maybe not sure how to use that. So I think that there's a big role to play in circular cities and in particular digitization in the future. Finally, I think I've got one left. This is our Procuring Resource Efficient Construction Projects guide. So it's a guide intended for procurers so that they can there's clauses in there they can extract and put directly into their procurement pieces. And also we have a similar offering for contractors who are bidding for work, so they can begin to understand maybe what they should be asking for or what they should be committing to delivering. So that's me. Thank you very much.